So today I wanted to quickly show you a little bit around the property, what we're doing, and give you a little bit behind the scenes of kind of what we're doing as far as gardening and other things we're doing here. So anyway, check it out. So in preparing for our garden, I got the greenhouse up. It is just our little hoop house here. It's behind me, and I'm going to show you a little bit what's inside, what we got started. So here's the greenhouse here. You can see all the stuff we got going in here. We've got our tomatoes predominantly on the right here, and the peppers, and some butternut squash going here. I have about 50 tomato plants or so started here. They're not doing terribly good this year just because the nights have been so cold that they really haven't grown much. And then on the left here, we have all our flats, all our different vegetables. And so these are the dill we got going. Got, 3 flats of those, so that should give us a good crop of dill. And some Swiss chard there. And these, we got kohlrabi. Got the cabbages out. Here's some of the remainder of the cabbages. And then the kohlrabi right there. Some purple and green kohlrabi. It's always good for storage and spring eating. And then we got some of the kales. And this is broccoli here. These are doing very nicely, about ready to go out. And zucchini. And I have a few zucchini plants. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or so zucchinis. That should be plenty. Maybe more than what we need. And then we have some cauliflower and onions. Got quite a few onion starts. Oh, what is it here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, approximately 5, a little less than 5 flats of onions, so that should be a whole bed full there. They're doing quite nicely. And the cucumbers are doing poorly this year, especially the Armenian cucumbers here. There's about 3 plants that might survive, may thrive, I don't know. Some of the other varieties here are doing pretty good. This was Mid-East Peace. These here, and this one is Poinset 7. That's supposed to be like a Market More type cucumber. This is more of a smaller eastern type. So kind of like the Socrats, like I grew last year. And more of the dill there. And got the beets, golden and red beets down there. Went for the red Ruby Queen again, since those have done so well in the past, and they seems to be doing well back in there. And all the onions, several different varieties. Mainly the let's see here, yellow perma. I don't know, Alyssa Craig. This is the yellow Spanish here. I got lots of seeds from that, so I do a lot of those. Those are a good storage onion. And then what else we got over here? This is the more yellow Spanish over in there. So anyway, that's what we got going in the greenhouse right now. Got a few crops out, but not too many. Still working on getting the compost in a state where I can work it, screen it, and make use of it. It's still pretty wet, and I've done a few beds, but not very many. So I'm kind of waiting for it to dry down and try to see if I can grind it up a little bit and make it a little more usable. It's really clumpy and pretty woody. It's not finished compost in my opinion. It would take a lot of screening to make it finished compost, and after it's ground up and dried out and etc. Perhaps it'll be nice, but right now it's not. So it's also been pretty hot around here. I got my greenhouse opened up the door there and all the flaps on either end, halfway up at least, to keep it from getting too hot in there. It's been up to 105 or something in there yesterday when I checked it, and so it's doing, I think it's in the 80s there right now, but everything's jumping up in there pretty good. The tomatoes are doing fairly well. They're starting to pick up speed now that it's warming up at night, but it's still pretty cold. We just had some more rain on, I guess, Friday here. So lilac bush by our back door here, which is doing very nicely, enjoying the blooms. It's nice to have flowers out around. The Andromeda Bush is finally finished blooming and starting to put out some nice pretty red leaves. It's always nice. It's a nice pretty one down there. So the Gravenstein apple tree is about finished blooming here. I think all the blooms are gone. So whatever we got pollinated with all the rainy weather is all we're going to get this year. Doesn't look too bad. A lot of the blooms seem to be doing well. It's gonna have to see kind of what actually got pollinated and what starts to increase in size. I do see some that look like they're pollinated here. The others are kind of hard to tell. Oops, that one just fell off, so I guess I shouldn't be poking at them too hard here. So the grafts are doing well. Up here, there's one there. There's another graft over there, wherever the shiny tags are. And there's a lot of insects out. The honeybees are out, and some of the more native little bees are out. There you can see some that got pollinated. They're starting to increase in size. In this particular branch, no, it's just, yeah, it's a Gravenstein one. Not sure if that was one of the ones that was grafted, but this has got a lot of apples on this one. There you can see some that got pollinated. They're starting to increase in size. In this particular branch, no, it's just, yeah, it's a Gravenstein one. Not sure if that was one of the ones that was grafted, but this has got a lot of apples on this one. And the other Red Delicious apple tree is doing quite well. There's still a couple branches here that have got blooms on them. I wonder if, is that one, let's see, is this one grafted? I can't remember. Doesn't look like it. No, it's not one of the grafted ones. I do have some apples on one of my grafted ones here. I think this is a Crispin, and so it's got quite a bit of fruit set on here, which is great. It's got one branch here that's still got a lot of blooms on it, and there's a honeybee right up there right now, sticking his head in there, looking for something to eat. Like some flea beetles. It's not good. I don't appreciate them, but that's the way it goes. And so this one's got pretty good fruit set. And this little Honeycrisp over here that I planted last spring? I think so. This one, you can see here, is still got some blooms on it, and it's getting fairly high. It's almost 7 foot now. It's doing pretty good. Got 2 apples off of it last year, and probably gets quite a few more this year. It's doing well. And the rhododendron back there is starting to bloom, so that's neat to be able to see that. So all the grass is growing heavily around here, trying to keep up with it. It's been so wet I haven't been able to spend much time mowing, and then work and other things, trying to get, priority is kind of get the beds, and then the grass isn't such a high priority, but it still needs to be done.
Oh, what did you do? Oh, anything would pass me and you.
You can see the trees across the street here. There's the Gravenstein that have been pruning for quite a few years. It's doing nicely this year, and there's the pear, the tall one back there, and the Baldwin apple tree behind that is getting a lot of new growth on it. Took a lot of that down last year and pruned it way back. Took a lot of big branches off, so it's the lower branches are coming on and doing nicely. And there's the Golden Delicious. On the left there you'll see a big branch gone. Just the right side is taller there, so I'm trying to take it down to a more usable height. And then there's a pear tree there behind the shed. So here's the compost pile that I purchased here, and just now starting to dry out and become more usable. It's still deep down inside is still pretty wet in there, so just kind of the surface is starting to dry down. Just had some more rain on Friday here, so
Wait for Molly.
It's kind of got wet again. But today it's, yesterday and today it's been drying out. So I should be able to use it here. I'm going to think about running the tiller over it and grinding it up a little bit, see if I can get it to be a little more fine. Here's the other compost piles that all the leaves and stuff that I've accumulated over last fall here. So adding grass clippings to them and mixing them in here as we get grass clippings this year. So just doing kind of windrows, and that seems to be working well. Needs to be mowed here inside the garden area. We got our lettuce coming up nicely, or growing nicely I should say, since I just transplanted it here recently. And so we got a good 3/4 of a bed here, which is a 30-foot bed. And I think these are about 6 inches apart or so. I did them 4 rows in the bed, and so they're doing nicely here. I just had our first salad from them today, which is quite good, pretty good tasting. There's enough there to harvest, and the spinach is doing nicely over here. So I got that. That was one of the first crops I transplanted out here. So it's more of a cool weather crop. So these have been doing very nicely, delicious leaves, and so I've been very happy about this crop. And I got these fig trees here, which I'm sure you've seen in some of my other videos. They're leafing out nicely, and I got like 4 of them here, and trying to figure out what I want to do with the things. Not sure where I'm going to put them. I like to protect them from the deer, but I'm not sure if I just want to take up a spot or 2 in the garden here, or if I want to try to put them out front of the house and put some fences around them, or what. I'm still trying to decide and make a good choice. I hate to move them too many times here. I don't really appreciate being moved. And got this first bed here is finally done. So this one's got compost on it, some of the black stuff, and I covered it here, and it's been sitting here for a couple weeks, so it's probably about ready to be planted. I think I have broccoli slated to be put in that bed, and then all the berries, all the perennial stuff. This is the perennial garden over here, except for the corn here, but this is kind of like where I usually do my squash. So got the corn in here, oh, what was it here, Thursday I guess it was, last Thursday. And so it's doing well. Got lots of moles running around in the garden here, kind of making mole holes, but they haven't caused any problems so far. Got one corn plant uprooted, so I had to go put that back in. But anyway, I got about 140 or so corn plants. So hopefully that'll be enough. This is the Candy Mountain variety, one I got from Adaptive Seed here. And the asparagus is all doing very nicely still. Keeps popping up and keep getting plenty of it here. So I've been very happy. I finally had to fence it off from the children stomping through there and running through the patch and breaking them off. So anyway, I've been freezing a lot of it here since we can't eat it fast enough. So we'll have vegetables for a longer period of time and eat it later this summer. And all the herbs here. Got the sage. It's doing very nicely. And the chives. Got some lemon balm here. And oregano. It's kind of taken over the place. But it's good. Have plenty to share, and hopefully if I have some time I'll dry some. So we'll have it for the rest of the year. And got a little bit of parsley coming up here. Volunteer. Need to get some parsley seed, but I haven't got around to it or ever remember to do it when I'm in a place to buy it. So anyway, I don't use it that often, but it is nice to have. And all the garlic is doing wonderful. It's just amazing, the variety. It's just super, what you want to call, vigorous growth. So just kind of a shady spot over here. It doesn't even, that, probably prime for it, but it seems to thrive. And it's more of the leeks over here on the back to the left here. Back in this area is all the leeks. And Shushkin, I think, strawberries. That's how you pronounce it. They're doing very nice. Yeah, I'm liking this variety. Very tall, bushy plants and hold their fruit high, and they're not ground dwellers like the other varieties that we have over there. That's the other berry patch we have over there. So anyway, gooseberries are all doing very nicely. Just a gooseberry plant. It's starting to set fruit, which is exciting. And the currant is doing fairly well. It could be bushier, I think, but it's doing modestly. I've got a lot of fruit set on there already, and got 3 more. What are those? Gooseberries. So there's a plant there, and a plant there, and one over there. Oops. Hiding back there. There's the other one. And some blueberry plants stuck in there too. It's a fairly good berry set. This little one is just a little one, so it's not doing anything yet, but it's also not looking too healthy. But anyway, doing the best here. And what is that anyway? That's cranberry. Down there on the ground, it's kind of hard to see. Anyway, there's a cranberry plant down there by the blue tag. Kind of a creeping plant. So anyway, that's what's in the garden here. And got the cabbage out in one of the plots over there, and also got the collards, which I need to get out of here at some point as soon as I can, but the flowers are blooming so nicely now, and the bees are around there getting nectar and pollen from there, so I hate to uproot them. They don't taste very good right now, so I'm not even really bothering to eat the things. They're real bitter and have kind of bad taste, so I'm not sure what their problem is. That's just normal this time of year. I forget the different phases it has of tasting good and not. So it's all the new growth in the spring here, so it's probably just usually doesn't taste very good until after a freeze or something. So anyway, rhubarb was doing well, putting out a lot. It's slowed down a lot and not really put out a lot any big stalks recently. but I've had a few cuttings off of it and shared that with others. The wind has picked up quite a bit around here, so I had to put a coat and hat on here. It's getting cold out here. So anyway, I was able to use the tiller to grind up the compost pile and got some on the bed over here. So happy about that. And it seems to do a very nice job of getting it on there. So again, apologize for the wind. Also want to show you real quick is how to, on these tarps here that I have at about 3.5 feet wide, and these are, well, whatever the bed length is you have. I have some that are 30 foot, 2 of them that are on this bed here where it's blowing off, and this other one over here is, oh, that's a 50 foot piece of black plastic, 6 mil. So I wanted to show you a quick way to get it on and off the beds. I've been struggling with it for a while and finally figured out a good way to get it on and off that was fast and efficient. So I thought I'd show you real quick. Grab the far end and bring it down here so the ends meet. Grab the middle there and do it again. Keep folding it in on itself. Here we go. So that gives you a nice little package you can put over your arm and transport to the next one. And I'll show you how to lay it out. Let's take it over here. Let's see, where do I need to put this thing? It's a 30 foot here. So, let's see here. Let's cover up the other part of the bed here. My spinach bed that's exposed. Alright, so I'm going to lay it down here with the 2 end pieces on the bottom. So like that. Grab some bricks or something to weight it down, otherwise it won't work so well. Okay, so I got some rocks and a brick or 2 to weigh down the ends, and so I'm going to go stick 2 on the starting end here. This is down this end here. So this is the one end here, so I'll put a rock on each corner. And then just grab this other loose end here and just start walking straight down to the other end. All unravels. the other end underneath here, just to keep it nice and neat. Keep it from flying all over the place. To adjust a little bit. So that's how you lay out a tarp, nice and quick and easy. This one you can tuck. Move it up a little bit here. But that keeps the bed from drying out too much and cracking, and keeps the biology active. And if it rains, then it's not going to be getting too wet and muddy or anything like that. So the tarp's on, it just creates a nice moist environment for everything to live and function. It's kind of creates a skin to protect it. So anyway, try to keep all my beds as covered as much as possible. I just got another 100 by 20 foot roll of black plastic. That's a good investment. It was about, I think about $100 or so, and that's a, you know, as far as what I'm going to be able to make use of it as, that's a pretty good deal. As far as, you know, compost would not cover as much area, and it's gone in about a year, so you have to buy it every year. This black plastic will last for many years. Just got to be a little careful with it so you don't puncture it, but it's very, very useful. So I highly recommend it. This plant here is called lemon balm, and just discovered recently, in doing some research, that it's very good for antibacterial and antiviral. And so I think, well, you know, maybe this would be something good for, you know, colds and flus and things like that. And sure, that's what it, you know, said it was good for, and other type of, you know, bronchitis or strep throat, those type of viral infections. So yesterday I was feeling very tired in the afternoon and thought, well, I must be getting sick here. By evening I could barely, you know, just hobble around the house, definitely weak and coming down with something. Probably a cold or something. And so this morning I was did my normal water with lemon juice, which has helped me get through the last phase of sickness in our house here without ever getting sick. And so added to that some lemon balm this morning after breakfast. I came out here and got maybe 10 or 12 leaves of lemon balm and ate those, and definitely could tell there was something, you know, pretty strong stuff. And just kind of worked really easy, did a lot of weeding this morning outside, and gradually my strength was coming back, and by lunchtime I was feeling pretty good. So I don't know for sure whether or not it's got, you know, good effect like that or not, but it seems to help a lot. And so that's something to just, you know, try. It's a good plant to have around. It's got good flavors, very nutritious. I'm still looking for the nutrition facts, I guess, on it to see what minerals and vitamins it has and other chemicals. But it, if anyone knows where that is, my dad told me it was very nutritious, and I don't know where. I need to ask him to find out where he got his information from, because I haven't been able to find any facts on it yet. But it's something to try. It's very easy to grow and stays around for most of the year. In the spring it's very prolific and spreads very easy, so you kind of have to be careful of it, but it's pretty easy to weed up, so it's not a problem. So anyway, it's quite delicious, tastes like lemon. Bees like it, you know, bee balm it's also called. Brings in pollinators. I'm wondering if they say this lemongrass essential oil attracts honeybees, like swarms and stuff like that, and I'm curious if the lemon balm ground up maybe with some lemon juice or something like that might do the same thing. It'd be interesting to try it and see if we get any swarms in our beehive. So that'd be something to try. Anyway, pretty good stuff. So here's to your health. Pretty good. I like it.
may or may not be good for killing off viruses, but it can't hurt. So, all right, that's about it for today. Hope you enjoyed the little tour of what we're doing around here. Haven't started the firewood. I need to start working on that too. And the mowing, of course, so there's all kinds of stuff to do out here. Plus, make money, you know, got to pay the bills, so got to be able to spend time helping other people with their projects, not just my own. Anyway, God bless, and see you on the next one. Bye-bye.